Hi everyone, my name is Jessy and welcome back to another episode of Table Talk, a video podcast series where we sit down at my dining room table and chat about all things life together. The highly anticipated, highly requested part 2 of my How to Be an Influencer video is finally here for you. Be sure to stay tuned for the end of this episode because I will be walking you guys through real life examples of how to negotiate and land brand deals. Before we get into the lesson, I just wanted to thank Scrintal for being today's video sponsor and helping me create the beautiful visual notes that you will soon see. Scrintal is a cloud-based tool that helps you turn ideas into insights by giving a seamless thinking, writing, and sharing flow. Whether you are operating on a team or you're a self-employed freelancer such as myself, you can use Scrintal to create a more structured workflow. By tackling the challenge of bringing ideas together, staying on track, seeing the big picture, and communicating complex ideas clearly, Scrintal is the perfect tool for my spatial thinkers, type A organizers, and visual learners. And today I'm going to be using Scrintal to give you all an enhanced learning experience on the world of influencer marketing. So grab your pen and paper because I'm going to transparently walk you through everything you need to know about the influencing industry. And if you're interested in trying out Scrintal for yourself, then you can use the code Jessy10 for 10% off your Scrintal Personal Pro account, or you can use the link in my bio to automatically get 10% off. This code and link are only valid for 1 month, so be sure to get on top of it. Welcome class to the Influencer Guide 101. I'm your Professor Jessy, and today we are going to tackle all of the questions that you had in my last video. Influencer tiers are a way for companies to categorize influencers and differentiate them for different campaigns and brand goals. Here is a quick influencer tier chart that I've created for you guys, and because this is a no gatekeeping Table Talk community, I've also provided a broad estimate of how much you can be charging if you fall underneath these following count categories. Please keep in mind that these tiers can vary per agency, and again, these are a very broad estimate of the charges that I have seen working as a PR manager. These numbers are also only based off of Instagram and TikTok rates because YouTube rates are typically much higher because they take more time to film, produce, and edit. The lowest number within each category can represent Instagram stories, while the highest number will represent your Instagram carousel, Instagram Reels, or TikTok videos. And yes, influencer rates can get that high, but hey, a job is a job, and some companies are willing to pay a lot for a successful marketing campaign, especially if that marketing campaign reaps the returns and it increases their overall sales or produces more brand awareness. Moving on to influencer terms, I've received so many questions about certain terminology that I used in my last video that I really didn't have time to explain, so we're going to tackle that all here. Starting off with your engagement rate and how to calculate it. To calculate your total engagement rate, you're going to want to take your total content interactions within a 30-day period, divide that by your total number of followers, and then multiply that number by 100%. And in order to find your content interactions, you'll want to go into your professional dashboard, which you should have if you followed my tips in my first video. Click on accounts engaged and then scroll down until you see your total content interaction number. Now, your engagement rate will obviously fluctuate throughout certain periods depending on how much you post, how much engagement each post gets, and honestly, if the Instagram algorithm is in your favor that month. Moving on to exclusivity rights. Exclusivity rights within an influencer contract prevent you as an influencer from promoting other like brands or products for a set period of time. For brands, this is more beneficial for them because it helps promote brand loyalty and also increases brand awareness for that set period of time. However, for influencers, this can limit the brand deals that they are allowed to take on within that certain period of time. As a full-time influencer, because you'd be missing out on these brand deals, that means you'll be missing out on potential paid deals that will help you pay the bills. So to compensate for that loss of money, that means you can charge an exclusivity fee to help compensate for the money that you would be making from other brand deals during that set period of time. Exclusivity rights are typically your rate for the campaign campaign times the amount of months that they're asking you for exclusivity. For instance, if a brand is asking you for 3 months of exclusivity and you charge $200 for an Instagram Reels, that would be 200 times the 3 months, which would equal $600, meaning you would charge $600 for an exclusivity fee, and that's in addition to the campaign cost. Ad usage rights, also known as whitelisting, I'm pretty sure, correct me on that, but I'm pretty sure, is a contract agreement term that allows the brand to use the influencer's content, image, name, and likeness as paid ads. Usage rights can also include repurposing the influencer's content for the brand's social media platforms, websites, and other forms of paid media usage. I've seen influencers typically charge around 15 to 25% of their base rate for ad usage fees or usage rights in general. This percentage can also pertain to the exclusivity fee if you don't want to do the multiplication by months. Now, I've personally never charged for either exclusivity rights or ad usage fees, even though I know I can. And that is because as a micro influencer, I understand how important it is to establish that first brand to influencer relationship. So I'm typically just negotiating my base rates for each deliverable. And that's in addition to whatever free product or service that they're offering me as compensation. And that's only for now, because as I establish myself more in this digital space, then higher rates and terms for campaigns are something that will be discussed in the future with brands. In addition to negotiating your different exclusivity or ad usage rates, you should also be negotiating the longevity of those rights. So for instance, for ad usage rights, I typically am only comfortable for a company or a brand running ads with my content for up to a 7 or 14-day period. And then for exclusivity, I typically only do about 3 months of exclusivity. You do not want to give a brand the right to use your content for as long as they wish. There should definitely be a cap on how long they could use your content for. The last term that we're going to review is your digital media card, otherwise known as your rate card. Digital media cards are essentially an influencer's resume or business card that brands can look at when negotiating brand deals. They provide a snapshot of an influencer's analytics, past partnerships, and your rates. Because if it's anything that a brand likes to look at, it's your numbers. I'm going to show you an example of what my own digital media card looks like, and you can pause this video and screenshot it if you want an example to work off of. But just remember that your digital media card as an influencer is essentially your resume, and just like any other resume, you're going to continuously update this as you work with more brands and as you grow a larger following. If you think about this from a brand perspective, they are skimming over your profiles and content. They don't have the time to deep dive and watch or look at every form of your content unless someone on their marketing team is a genuine fan of yours and have been following you and your content for a while. So a digital media card is the perfect way as an influencer to reintroduce yourself to a brand when they reach out and to establish more trust between you and the brand. The key to securing brand deals is to focus on 2 main social media platforms so that you don't overexert yourself. For example, my 2 main platforms are YouTube, of course, and Instagram, and most of the brand emails that I get are referring to one of those pages. Now, don't get me wrong, I do repurpose a lot of my content onto TikTok, but I put in more effort into scaling my Instagram and YouTube because I just genuinely love the community that I'm building on both of those platforms, and long form editing will just always be my first love. I've gotten a couple of questions on my last video asking whether or not you should start a brand new account or just build off the following that you already have. And let me tell you, the amount of photos and videos that I have archived or privated on my YouTube channel or on Instagram, girly pops, there's nothing wrong with that. For YouTube, it was much easier for me to play around and test out different forms of content because only my closest friends were subscribed to me at that time. Whereas with Instagram, everyone that I know or have ever met follow me on Instagram. So that was a little bit more of a hurdle to get over in terms of thinking about what people would think about me and thinking about, oh, what if I seem corny posting all of the different brand related or influencer related things. But as Sabrina Carpenter once sang, I'm on SNL and you're not.
I'm on SNL and you're not.
And I think once you get over that hurdle of what other people will think of you, that's when you'll start to establish your digital media presence even more and eventually land your first brand deal or get on your first PR list. And then at that point, it doesn't really matter what other people think of you when you never have to shop for makeup or skincare again because you get them sent to you. All of this to say, as long as you maintain consistency with posting on at least 2 social media platforms, it could be any of your choosing, and you actively work hard to better your craft and content creation is genuinely something that you enjoy doing, then the brand deals will come along. And don't forget to put your email in your bio so that brands know how to contact you. In this section, I'm going to quickly cover some telltale signs of scammers. Some things that I like to avoid in fear of being scammed are Gmail thankfully has a phishing alert, so if an email seems like a scam or not from an authentic user, then Gmail will list it as a potential phishing alert. Any emails that are labeled as such, I tend to ignore. There's no real company email. If the email is coming from name@gmail.com versus name@rarebeauty.com, I'll tend to trust the email that has a legitimate website behind it rather than just a standard Gmail account. And that's not to say that all Gmail accounts are fraud or fakes, but it's just that extra trust factor. Number 3, if there's no official website hyperlinked within the email, and if the brand has no real social media presence, then that's another sign to maybe not trust them. Number 4, always look up brand reviews on Google and Reddit. Do your research before just jumping into a gifting or a brand deal, because you always want to be safe with your information and protect yourself out here. And number 5, you should never, ever pay for anything upfront. Not for the product, not for shipping. As always, please be safe out there and just trust your gut instinct if something feels off. Lastly, before we cover contract negotiation, we are going to discuss payment forms and taxes. Whenever I complete a brand deal, I always send the brand an invoice that has either my Zelle or PayPal account information. Your Zelle and PayPal username are the safest ways to handle any type of payment when you're working with a brand and completing brand deals. It is very rare for a nano or micro influencer to operate on an ACH transfer basis because that involves actually providing your bank account information. And when ACH transfer is involved, 9 out of 10 times a legally binding contract, a legal team, and a management team are also involved in that transaction. As for taxes, as far as I'm concerned, the current law is if a brand gifts you with no obligation to post, then that means you don't have to claim their products or anything involved on your taxes. However, if a brand gifts you in exchange for a set of deliverables, then that is when you need to report the amount and cash value of products as a form of income when you are filing your tax returns. All of this means that you will just owe more at the end of the tax year. That's why you write off everything so that you owe less. And as an influencer or content creator, you can write off not only your equipment, but a portion of your rent, a portion of your phone bill, a portion of your Wi-Fi bill, and any software programs that you use. Just make sure that you're really discussing this with your financial advisor or accountant to make sure that you have all of your bearings together. I talk more about how I handle my taxes and write-offs as a freelancer in other TableTalk episodes, so be sure to check them out. I hope you guys are still here because I'm now going to walk you through a step-by-step process on how you can negotiate and land your brand deals. All of these examples are based off of negotiations that I've handled before, whether as an influencer myself or as a PR manager negotiating with other management teams. I've also skewed all numbers and left out any names to maintain anonymity. In Exhibit A, the brand asked for a semi-dedicated YouTube video in exchange for just a free product. I'm going to stop right there real quick because as a content creator who puts in so much time and effort into all of my content, it can be so frustrating when a brand asks you for a full-fledged 10-minute video for essentially a free product. Free products do not pay the bills, and YouTube videos, especially a 10-minute YouTube video, take so long to film and produce and edit. But to continue, influencer responds with a compensated rate of $300 in addition to the free product in exchange for a YouTube integration. Brand counteroffers with an offer of $150 for the YouTube integration, stating that they are a small business but would still love to partner with with influencer and establish a good relationship. Influencer agrees to the stated amount of $150 in addition to the free product in exchange for YouTube integration. In Exhibit B, brand asks for a YouTube integration in exchange for compensation and a free product. Influencer states rate of $1,000 for YouTube integration in addition to the free product. Brand counter offers with $300 based on the influencer's overall engagement and following at the time. Influencer counter offers with $800 stating this statement. I thought that was a very well written statement and it made a lot of sense. If you ever find yourself in a pickle when you're negotiating with a brand, feel free to use that statement because, again, it does take a lot of time to create content. Both parties agree to meet in the middle of the original rate for a new price of $500 in exchange for the deliverable based off of this negotiation. In Exhibit C, the brand asked for one dedicated IG Reels along with 30-day ad usage. Their typical rate for an Instagram Reels is $5,000, and for the additional 30-day ad usage rate, they will be charging an additional $1.5K. Brand counter offers with a budget of $3.5K, stating that they are a small business but would still love to make something work. Brand proposes new offer of one Instagram Reels and 14-day ad usage rates for the newly proposed rate. Influencer responds stating that they can do one Instagram Reels alongside only 7-day ad usage rate for the newly proposed budget of $3.5K. Both parties agree and move forward with the newly negotiated terms. And don't forget what I said about paying attention to the usage rights, ad usage or whitelisting, exclusivity rights, and also licensing within contracts. Make sure that you put a hard deadline on how long they can use your content for. Oh my goodness, I hope that you guys are still here with me. That concludes part 2 of my How to Become an Influencer in 2024 video. And this time for sure, I am positive that I've covered everything. But as always, if I missed anything or if you have any more questions, then feel free to just comment them below and I will try my best to answer them all. Thank you again to Scrintal for sponsoring this video. I mean, just look at how beautiful my note presentation was. Aside from taking really cool and visually pleasing notes, you can also use Scrintal for project management, assigning tasks within your company, shared brainstorming sessions, and so much more. If you would like to try out Scrintal's interface for yourself, then be sure to use code Jessy10 to get 10% off your Scrintal Personal Pro account. Or you could just click on the link in my bio to automatically get the discount applied to your account. Remember that this code and link are only valid for 1 month, so do not miss out on trying this out. If you enjoyed today's video, then please give it a thumbs up and feel free to leave a super thanks if you'd like. Super thanks is YouTube's way of allowing the audience or viewers to tip creators if they really like their content. I just wanted to give a shout out to user Jana Salam or Salim. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing it, but Jana Salim 3350 for leaving me my first super. Genuinely made my day when I got that notification, and it sincerely motivates me to work even harder to create really great content for you guys. And of course, be sure to subscribe for more TableTalk episodes, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Bye!